Hello, day 14. Just done the last workout, did a long run this morning. It means I am 1/6 of the way through these 84 days. Only another 70 to go. Day 14. I said I was going to do these daily vlogs and I have been doing them. However, one thing I said I was going to be doing was journaling. Don't really feel like I've been doing that, so I'm going to do a little bit of that now. I've got 5 questions. I'm going to put them in the description below because I think they're really good questions actually. Found them online and they really seem to suit my kind of head space and all the rest of it. So I'll read them out and I'll give you my responses. So when I think about authenticity in my work and life, where am I living it fully and where am I slipping into performance or external validation? Okay, generally speaking, I think I do pretty well on this. Maybe I'll make a video on this, but the whole public, private and secret life thing, I think if anyone from work were to suddenly be dropped into my kitchen on a Sunday afternoon and also have access to my internet search history, I don't think they would be surprised by any of this, and vice versa. I think if Bex or anyone came to see me at work, I don't think there would be any kind of discrepancy. And I know it's not the case for some people. I also know definitely wasn't the case for me all the time. There was definitely a kind of mask being worn there. Work is a little bit performative. It has to be, but it's also completely honest. There's definitely a kind of barriers thing that has to be in place for that. But I did have a think about this. The only thing I could really think of with this was that at work, I do like to be seen to solve problems in a creative way. I think that's the same for everybody, though. I don't know if that really means whether that's performative, because I don't ultimately do it for that. It's just nice to be recognised for it. So, yeah, perhaps I'm doing quite well on that side of things, but it definitely wasn't always the case, and it's definitely something to keep a lookout for. You'll know from these videos that really I don't ever make these for you guys, it's for me. So anyway, question 2. What does living well actually look like for me right now, physically, mentally and philosophically, and what small habits would bring me closer to it? To be honest, I think what did it say? Living well physically, mentally and philosophically. I think the key for me is whether I'm responding appropriately to things that occur, and I think that's what living well looks like, both physically, mentally and philosophically. Philosophically responding well, having the mental ability to respond well, and I think a lot of that comes down to the physicality, and it hasn't been the case. I think I'm doing okay, but I'd have definitely noticed this, and I think it's something to pay attention to. So what does it say at the end? What small habits could bring me closer to being able to respond well, which is my ability, my definition of living well. Well, I think it's small habits. I spoke to Bex about this question because I thought it was a really good one. I feel like I'm firefighting a lot of the time, chasing my own tail. You know, when I go to bed, I'm suddenly having to look at what bus I've got to get to be able to get into work so that I can go to the gym. And then I'm kind of getting my bag ready. So like everything's happening the night before. So Bex was saying that there's an awful lot I can do to get ready, isn't there? Getting 3 sets of kit, making all my lunches. Wednesday's an issue because I can't make Wednesday fresh salad or something on a Sunday. So she came up with some solutions of things that I could batch cook, get out the night before, that all that kind of stuff. I think it's streamlining it. Same thing, I'm getting into bed at night and going to set my alarm and then, looking at bus times and stuff, and then you're on your phone, aren't you? And yeah, it's streamlining those things. They're little habits, just being a little bit more kind of in a routine, getting the bag ready. So I think that's a small habit I can change to, I think that will, well, anyway, there's another question in here that I think will help with that. Anyway, question 3, when I'm at my best, disciplined, calm and purposeful, what's driving that state and how can I recreate it more consistently? This is a similar answer, isn't it? It's about headroom. There's this noise, this chaos, like firefighting that constantly goes along with being busy. It's busy anyway at work, but then you add in these challenges on top of it. And, if you're not organised and you're not kind of in a routine and you haven't got everything prepped and ready to go, all you're dealing with is firefighting and chaos and kind of static. I think it's a similar answer to the previous one. What I need to do is create headroom. It's the same with all of us. I think some people call it bandwidth. In recording terms, like if you've got headroom at a recording level, like if something gets louder, it has that headroom to go up into that space without there being any distortion. It's exactly the same analogy for this. If your kind of upper capacity is kind of just jammed full, then you haven't got any sort of space, any headroom. And I think that's what I need to do. And I think it's a simple thing. I think it's about being a bit more organised and a little bit more systematic and in more of a routine. So same answer really for question 3. Question number 4. What's within my control right now that I'm not handling as well as I could? Right, simple one this. Food. I'm doing okay. Let me move this up a second. Some of the bad habits crept back in. So some of the chocolate and crisps and stuff like that just needs to go. There isn't really any excuse to have it. I wonder if some of this issue with the headroom and stuff is creating that kind of like need to treat myself in inverted commas and all the rest of it. I think that will be hand in hand, but that is something that is within my control, and it does need to go. There've been too many bags of crisps and too much chocolate and too many sweets in the last 2 weeks. That has to stop. That is within my control for sure. That's the next little bit of discipline to get in. And the last question number 5: what am I creating purely for the love of it, and how can I protect that space from noise, distraction, or external pressure? The music I'm writing at the moment is mine and mine alone. It always kind of has been, really, but I am really enjoying kind of writing and playing and grabbing moments here and there to pick a guitar up or even sit at the kit sometimes and just play around with some ideas and lyric stuff. That's really it. What can I do to protect it? I think it's the same answer, isn't it? I think it keeps coming back to this idea of just being a little bit more organised. Beck said earlier, she came in the lounge and found me writing a note of like when I need to get the bus and all this kind of stuff. And she said, look, even a year ago, you wouldn't even have been doing this. You wouldn't have even sort of thought of that as a solution to this issue about where my head's at. We had a discussion earlier about how we're just not feeling on top of our game at the minute, and it's got nothing to do with the challenge. I think it's just everything that's going on, the challenge included. So just trying to find a little bit more headroom. I think that's the key going forward. So watch this space. I think I'm going to be looking at just simple ideas for being a little bit more efficient and not wasting time on the stuff that doesn't need to be wasted on. Monotasking more. I read an amazing book called Peak Performance by Brad Stulberg and Steve Magnus. I'd urge any of you to read it. It's one of my favourite books. And there's a section in there about monotasking and how we seem to revere multitasking, and actually it's literally the least efficient way of doing things. No one can actually multitask. What you're doing is monotasking lots of things in sequence, and the micro switching between those monotasks is incredibly inefficient. And I really think that's what I've been doing. So I need to monotask. I need to get into a routine and a bit of a system to gain a bit more headroom. I think that'll make all the difference. Anyway, that's it. 2 weeks done. Only another 10 to go. 70 days. I'm enjoying the training. Definitely. I'm feeling physically better. The long runs are now an hour. They were 50 minutes. The shorter runs were 30 minutes. They're now 35 minutes. I've got a bit of a handle on the weights that I'm lifting and stuff. So yeah, watch this space really. But that's it. Those of you that have watched some of these videos, I know some of you insanely have watched all or most of these, and I don't know why, because they're for me, aren't they? And yeah, anyway, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Goodbye, please.